In today's episode, I head down to Falmouth for a nice little camp at the seafront, where I enjoy the evening, which eventually gets ruined by some noisy neighbours.
I'm going to go out and see what's going on.
And to top it off, there's still issues with the van.
And now that I've pulled over for 5 minutes...
Thankfully, the weather eventually clears up. Look at the state of this weather. Right, let's find somewhere to park up. Right. This looks like as good a place as any. The original video for today was going to be me fitting my diesel heater, but I've decided not to do that, and there's a very good reason why. Actually, there's quite a few reasons why, but I'll explain that in just a minute. Let me just explain why I'm in Falmouth tonight. So I've come down to Falmouth simply because I want to go snorkeling in the morning, and I figured I might as well make a night of it, stay here in the van, and I can literally just get up and head straight in the water first thing. And the reason why I'm thinking, like, you know, snorkeling's a good idea, even though it's been quite stormy recently, it's just because I haven't snorkeled in probably about 2 months, and I need to get back out there. And as it is a new year, you need to start the year as you mean to go on. New year also means new hoodie. It's pretty much the same as my other hoodie, it's just blue. But yeah, nice and toasty. So here's the deal with the diesel here. It arrived fine, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I pretty much put it in the van, worked out where I was going to put it. All seemed to fit really well. And then I was literally just about to start like making permanent decisions, i.e. start drilling holes in the floor and everything. And I came to this sort of conclusion that it might be a bit wasted on this van. And the only reason why I'm thinking that is because my initial plan at some point was to get another van, to get a bigger van and kit that out, still make it really stealth like this one, but just have a bit more space. And after my recent breakdown, it was a pretty easy fix. It was just an alternator, but I've kind of lost faith a little bit in this van. I've had it just over a year. I've covered about 5,000 miles and I've had like 3 breakdowns essentially. And I have this feeling that if anything else goes wrong with the van, it's going to start getting expensive. And rather than spend thousands of pounds fixing this, I might as well just bite the bullet, use as much money as I've got saved up and buy something that's 1, bigger and 2, newer as well. So hopefully it shouldn't have as many issues. I mean, there's probably quite a few things I would do differently on the next van. One of the things that really annoys me is the fact that I didn't put a ceiling vent in the van. So whenever I do any cooking, I've got to have a door open or window open, and that kind of like gets rid of a lot of the sort of stealthness of the van. One of the other things I'd probably change as well is that I don't actually have any sort of access to the front of the cab. So after I had that near break-in in the van, it would have been quite nice just to be able to just hop in the front and drive off if I needed to. But one, because this is here, it's not possible. I could rip it all out, but like I said, there's no point in starting to rip this apart when I could just bite the bullet and just buy a new van. Also, there's not a lot of space in between the double seat and the driver's seat to actually fit through anyway, so. And I guess the main thing would just be space. I've got so much stuff in this van. I've got like wetsuits, I've got surfboards, I've got all the stuff to sort of maintain the van. I've got wet bags, I've got so much stuff in here. It would be nice just to have an area just designated to my gear. It would be quite nice to have a sort of bigger kitchen area as well. Just sort of with a bit more room just to cook, really. I'm not necessarily saying that I'd want like a fitted sink or anything, but that would come in handy rather than me keep pouring all the water and everything down the toilet. As far as the toilet goes, this is perfect. Wouldn't change that for the world. The functionality of it anyway, I probably would maybe box it in the next van if there was room for it, but this is definitely coming with me. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm not getting rid of this van. I'm gonna keep this van so that I can still use it. I can still use it for day trips and overnight camping and stealth camping whilst I'm doing up the new van. So essentially I'm going to be Shawnee 2 vans, but it just essentially means that there's not going to be any time lost, so that if I want to get out, go on a little adventure, I've still got this van which is going to be completely running while the other one is being done up, because there's nothing worse than in the middle of sort of doing a van up then having to be like, I need to nip to B&Q, and you've got to pack everything away so you can then drive the van that you're working on. Or maybe I've got to go to work and I've got to pack everything away so then I can then drive the van to work. Whereas if I've got this van, the other one can essentially stay like a complete building site while I'm doing it up, and then this one will be, I can continue using it for fun. And also the thing I was thinking about, if I had a bigger van, it'd be quite nice to take the wife and the baby away for a few weeks in the summer, like out of Cornwall, out of England, you know, maybe just like head to the south of France or something, just for a few weeks. And the thought of doing that in this van, well, there would just, I know there would just not be enough room. Babies have a lot of stuff. All this talk about reliability of vehicles, and it looks like someone else is broken down. And that's a VW T5. So I came up with this really good idea. Well, I think it's a really good idea. That GoPro that I had problems with the other week, the GoPro Hero 11 Mini, it's mounted on the dash at the moment, and I figured if I hear anything in the night and I want to check out, at least out the front of the van, to see if there's anything there, I might be able to just power it on through the app. Okay, so literally just connect it, and then there you go, that's out the front of the van. Am I genius? And then I can literally just go power off, power off, and you can hear it at the front beeping. Brilliant. So it turned out it was just a flat tyre anyway, so maybe not all vans break down. But on that note, I think it's time to start cooking, because I'm getting hungry. It does actually smell really good. It is, well, I mean, you'd expect it to taste good if it's from Jamie Oliver, wouldn't you? But nice. And I'm gonna put with it some carbonara sauce. I guess I've got to just kind of heat it through. Okay. So, you know, the last time that I camped here, I made a steak sandwich. I had so much meat over Christmas and New Year that, you know, this is, well, I'd like to say it's healthy. It's fairly healthy. Feels like it should be healthy anyway. Probably should have put some vegetables in there though. I probably could have eaten that out of the pan, but I thought I'd be a little bit civilised. Moment of truth. Definitely hot. It'll warm me up as well. Not that it's cold tonight, because like always, when it's raining, it's never that cold. Dinner this evening was very average. Now, did you notice I didn't have a non-alcoholic beer with dinner this evening? That's because I drank far too much over Christmas and New Year of normal beers and normal glasses of wine and Jack Daniels and Coke and gin and tonic and everything going. The thought of drinking a non-alcoholic beer tonight, it ain't happening anyway. Let's just put it that way. God, it's a bit tiring, you know, making a bed in such a confined space. That's another thing. Maybe in the next van I would have a fixed bed so I don't have to make it every time. But I suppose that's all part of the fun, right? And rather than just settle down for bed now, I might go for a little wander into town just to see if I see anyone I know. You make out that it's like really late. It's like 7 o'clock in the evening. So yeah, let's go for a wander. That's why I'd never have a log burner in my van, because it's not very stealth, is it?
Two hours later.
Right, quick catch up with a friend. Let's go back to the van. Okay, so I'm sneaking back to the van, and there's a hell of a lot of vans along the front here. Maybe they've seen one of my videos when I stayed here before. That's me. Do you know what? I'm going to pull this down. Time to... I'm not. I'm going to leave it there. I know I was saying that I wanted a bigger van, but nothing that big. I mean, they're not even discreet. All the lights are on. At least all the attention will be sort of drawn to them this evening. Right, I'd say it's bedtime. I'll leave you here and I'll see you in the morning. Good night. Right, so I'm just sort of laid here, chilling out in my van, and all I can hear, those 3 vans that are parked behind me, they're just out on the pavement there, having a yap. It's like 10 o'clock at night. I appreciate they're not from around here, because they're not speaking English, I can hear it, but, like, some of us are trying to sleep. I'm going to go out and see what's going on, because it's annoying me. Right, so here's the situation. Oh, that's really bright. It looks like they've moved 2 of the vans further on down the road, and they're all just sort of playing cards or something in that van with all the doors open and just making loads of noise. I could move the van, or I could just put my headphones on, carry on watching YouTube and just fall asleep. I've had a look. I don't even recognise the number plates. Like, what if anyone knows what country this is from, then maybe just let me know in the comments, but it's just a bit inconsiderate. You know, it's like, I'm a strong believer of leave no trace, but I'm also a strong believer of, if you're going to do this, don't affect anyone else around you, and don't be so f***ing obvious. Anyway, good night again. Morning. I am quite toasty in the sleeping bag and everything, but the rest of the van is freezing. I've literally just been laid here for about half an hour, just been like, I probably should get up, but nope, too cold. Doesn't really fill me with confidence for getting up and getting in the freezing cold sea. It is a really cold morning. Beautiful day though. I've been in your waters, been knocking at your door. So for those of you who don't know, this is Castle Beach, and for any of the new people that are new to my channel, I don't know whether you know this, but there's actually a huge amount of shipwrecks and things in Falmouth, and I'm going to go out. It all depends on the visibility and everything, but we're going to go out for a little snorkel and just see if we can find it. We stay indoors while the lovers roam the streets. Right, so water temperature today, officially cold. so you might notice something a little bit different today. After all the problems that I've had with the GoPro recently, I decided to use the Insta360 to go snorkeling with. And to be honest, I'm not happy with the results. I mean, where's my body gone? After shooting a full snorkel, granted the water was a little bit murky, but still, the footage just wasn't good enough. But instead, here's a clip of me getting battered by the waves while trying to take my fins off.
Go get my fins on. Getting battered.
So not every snorkel mission can be a success. Can you see that steam coming off me? Off my skin. That's how warm your wetsuit keeps you, and that's how cold it is out here today. I think I can officially say I have wrecked these wetsuit socks. Now, I get asked the same question any time that I make a video where I go in the sea, and somebody always asks me, what do you do with your keys when you're in the water? Literally, pretty much every time I upload a video where I go in the sea. And it's quite simple. The keys stay in the van, so I'll just keep them inside. So they stay in here. I then go to a place like Timpson's, get a key cut, which is literally just a door key for this van. It won't start the engine because there's no chip in it or whatever it is. There's no remote central locking on it. It's literally just a manual key that you put in the lock and open the door. And then that key comes out with me in the water, goes in my wetsuit. Most wetsuits have a little key slot for you to be able to put your keys in there. So just put it in there, go out in the water, come out, unlock the door, use the proper keys to properly lock the back of the van, and then I'm away. Pretty simple. Alternatively, you can use something like this, which is a master lock. You put your key in there and then you put your code in and just stick it to something. I do use this occasionally, but somebody said they were quite easy to break, so I've stopped using it. But anyway, I'll see you next week for the next adventure. So good to have the van back. Bye.
Bye, Falmouth.
See you next time. Okay, so I'm just driving home. I've pulled over at the side of the road just simply because the van won't rev past like 2,000 RPM. So I'm hoping that's not an injector problem, because that will be expensive. This is what I mean when I say I've lost complete confidence in this van.
And now that I've pulled over for 5 minutes, it's working fine again.